What's going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about exactly which countries you should be targeting in 2019 for the best results. I know there's a bunch of information out there and a lot of YouTubers out there where one says to target only USA or Canada and someone else says to target top 5, while the third guy says target worldwide. And while these people may be speaking from their own personal experiences, beginners or even people who aren't fully beginners and have a Shopify store running but don't get the results that they want often don't know which way to go. Is it to target this way or that way? And we're going to be clearing all the misconceptions in this video. So by the end of this video, you're going to be knowing exactly which product should be targeted where, because the real answer is it depends. You will have to stick till the end to really understand as to which product falls under which category. So let's get right into it. So before really discussing as to which country is better than the other, let's talk about exactly why choosing one country over the other is better or worse. Why is it even important in the first place? Shouldn't the results all be kind of similar? And the answer is a little bit more complicated than that, because first of all, every different country has a different type of person living there with different kinds of experiences, knowledge, life awareness, etc. But the most important thing as to why we don't do that is because of the metrics themselves. CPM, CPC, CTR, cost per purchase, etc. When it comes to choosing specific countries to target and differentiating between each country, it is important to know that every different country that you target will get you some different types of results when it comes to these metrics. In your own experience, if you have been running Facebook ads, you may have noticed one country gets you better results than the other, and the country that doesn't get you any results usually has really high stats like high CPMs, high CPCs, etc. And that is very common to have when it comes to targeting these countries. But along with that, the second thing that really makes you want to choose one country over the other is the language barrier. There are some countries out there where only about 1% of the population speaks English. So if your entire advertisement and product page and everything on your website is in English, it won't really make sense to target these other countries. Along with that, you have to know that each country has a different pocket of audience, and each different pocket of audience has a different person with a different buying viewpoint. Again, it goes back to the life experiences, the personal experience of each person in this country. These people believe in different things, their culture tells them differently, etc. So in a case like this, a product you may be selling could fit perfectly in one culture in one country, while in another country, the use of that product may be completely against that person's culture. So it is important to know where your product stands in order to really save that money so you can invest it in better places and get more money inside your pocket. But some common problems that people often face when it comes to dropshipping is when targeting worldwide. You may have noticed that you get a bunch of clicks, but you get barely any or even zero purchases. And in addition to that, sometimes a lot of the purchases that you get from these worldwide ad sets are fraud orders. But on the other hand, if you only target top 5 countries, you may notice that you're getting a little bit of high CPMs, or it could be even higher CPC or any other metric. And if you go ahead and only target USA and Canada, you may be thinking that if this product is not a winner in these 2 countries, what if it is a winner in the other countries? I won't know because I didn't test in that. And these kinds of problems and questions are really common to have, because those are all problems associated with the specific countries that you are targeting. And this is again why it is so important to know exactly why one country or specific countries are better than others in your case. But in addition to these problems, I've also seen problems with the currency or payment options. In fact, some of the worldwide countries I've targeted, specifically in Asia, have had people asking me for different types of payment gateways, because 90% of the people in those countries don't have access to credit cards or debit cards or even PayPal accounts. They prefer something called cash on delivery, which is basically them paying for the order after it gets delivered to them. And if you target a country for a product which solely relies on cash on delivery, then of course your product would not sell at all if you don't offer that payment gateway option. So these are again all problems which are associated with all of these different country options, and that just makes it 10 times more important for you to know which country you should be targeting in the first place. And this brings me to my next point, which is, how do you even determine which country to target? Is there some type of real weird technique that you need to use to understand? And the answer is, it is actually very simple. So the first thing is that you want to be asking yourself the question, which is, what is your product? Is it a high ticket product or a low ticket product? or is it season specific? And you'll know why this question is so important in just a few seconds. But the more information you have relating to your product, which basically gives you a general idea as to where you should be selling it, the better it is for you. So the main reason why we're asking these questions is to understand which countries we want to target to. When it comes to targeting countries, the first option is targeting the top 5 countries, which is really common now. When it comes to these top 5 countries, one thing you want to understand is these countries have the highest buying power, meaning their currency is some of the most valuable in the world. The people in these countries have decent jobs, which can allow them to spend more money than the average person in another country. And what this means is that any type of product you may be wanting to sell, especially if it is high ticket, would be better off targeted to these top 5 countries. People in other countries, specifically in Asia or parts of Europe or South America, they would not even be able to afford high ticket products, at least 95% of these people. So in a case like this, you would kind of be wasting your money. But on the other hand, if it was just a low ticket product, a few dollars, maybe $20, $30, etc., then it would be better off to include these other worldwide countries. But when it is a product that is above $100, you definitely want to only be going towards the top 5 countries. But even if you're selling a low ticket product, you need to keep in consideration that a lot of these countries in other areas of the world have some of the highest risk involved. Specifically South America, parts of Asia like Indonesia, or even Russia are countries where there's a lot of high fraud. So knowing that, you want to kind of keep in mind who you want to target to, because if you're fine dealing with these higher risks for these countries and would much rather prefer just going worldwide directly, you can do that. But these countries again have some of the highest risk. And if we continue on, when it comes to a product being season specific, there's one reason why I asked this question in the first place, and that is because in the world that we live in, when it is winter in the United States or Canada or in this part of the region, it is summer somewhere else. So if you're planning on selling some bikinis or some pool floats or anything like that, and you know that it is currently wintertime in the United States, it would not be wise to target US as one of the countries for this product. So keeping this in mind, you would then go ahead and change your way of attacking and targeting and simply use other countries where it is actually summer. And the same goes for wintertime. When it is summer here in the United States, you would not be wanting to target the US as one of the countries for your portable heater. So that is when seasonality comes really into play, and you need to know that when determining what countries to target. So as you can see clearly, every different scenario has a different solution to it when it comes to targeting these countries. You don't just want to apply one solution to every single one of these selling options, because in that way you could end up losing a lot of money. So again, high ticket items, specifically the top 5 countries. If it's a low ticket item, you can go worldwide, but in that case, you would really need to pay attention to these specific countries which are high risk of fraud. And finally, if it's a seasonal product, then you have to know where it is a specific season in the world and then target those countries. But my final verdict would be that for general products not falling in the categories mentioned above, you want to either target top 5 countries or the e-packet countries only. And you can find a list online using Google or on Facebook groups. I have a free Facebook group which you can join. The link is in the description, and it should have a reference to the e-packet countries. But nowadays, I'm definitely recommending that you go with either top 5, especially if your product is high ticket. But otherwise, you should definitely be going with e-packet countries. And the main reasons behind this is that, first of all, we don't want to just limit our product views to a specific country, because as I mentioned above, each different country has a person with a different buyer's viewpoint and a different culture. So in one culture, the product may not be accepted, but in another, it might be. So in order to really get the best bang out of your buck, just targeting the top 5 e-packet countries would be really less risk, because you're targeting e-packet countries, and this is where e-packet works. So you won't really get those chargebacks of people waiting over 30 days or over 60 days for their product. In addition to that, these countries also have an average buying power, meaning they can afford the average products. $30, $50, $70. Again, for high ticket products, I would highly recommend top 5 countries. For anything other than a product that is above $100, you should definitely be going with e-packet countries. And again, this would lead to much less room for missed opportunity. You don't want to live with the regret in e-commerce that maybe this product would have been a winner had you targeted another country. So when you target e-packet, you really minimize room for missed opportunity, and you go straight for the areas which can grant you the biggest ROAS. So far right now in 2019, I've had great results targeting just top 5 and e-packet countries. But again, when you're targeting countries besides the top 5, you need to really be careful as to which country you choose, because of the high risk of fraud. But if you found any type of value in this video, don't forget to smash that like button down below and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.